Good afternoon. This is the Midday Brief, and my name is Jennifer Jane Asante. In the headlines, an anthrax outbreak in Boku claims 4 lives and 30 cattle are also reported dead. We'll get you an update of that situation. And the 2013 WASSCE of the 4-year and 3-year system has begun. We will take you to see what they are going through. And the doctors' strike continues unabated, with the Minister of Health visiting some hospitals to assess the situation. We'll take you on that particular tour, even as we bring you more news in briefs, showbiz, business, and wellness. We'll be back after a break. Now, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, through the Root and Tuber Improvement and Marketing Program, RTIMP, has created over 2,500 jobs. It has, under the RTIMP, also built capacities of more than 12,000 farmers through the Farmer Field Fora, FFF. The Minister for Food and Agriculture, Clement Kofi Humado, made this known when he launched a 3-year climate change adaptation in agriculture project at Techiman.
The Root and Tuber Improvement Program, RTIMP, under the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, has since 2006 been working at building competitive and market-based root and tuber commodity chains supported by relevant, effective and sustainable services easily accessed by the rural poor. It is currently operational in 106 districts across the country and has resulted in the establishment of 24 good practice centers for improved gari processing operations. In order to sustain the gains made with regards to cassava production and other root and tuber crops in the face of the global climate change phenomena, RTIMP developed a 3-year project DAPT promoting a value chain approach to climate change adaptation in agriculture in Ghana. The project, which is to be piloted in 7 operational areas of RTIMP, is funded by a $2.5 million grant from the Global Environmental Facility and Special Climate Change Fund. It is expected to reduce the vulnerability of food supply system and rural livelihood to impact on climate change. It is also designed to contribute to the reduction of climate-induced risks to food security and income generations by focusing on improvement and adaptation of the cassava value chain and pilot areas of the country. Akwesi J. Ejekum is National Coordinator of the Root and Tuber Improvement Marketing Program.
25 MOFA and research staff shall be trained in participatory climate risk assessment and vulnerability mapping. 2,000 women, youth and men of vulnerable households shall be trained on climate change related issues through community capacity building workshops. 80 people representing different stakeholder groups shall participate in learning tours. We have to send them outside the country to find out or to learn what others have done as far as climate change adaptation is concerned.
The Wenchi Municipal Crop Officer Victor Yo W explains how beneficial the project will be to the root and tuber farmer.
To entail production of cassava in a way that will protect the environment, so that we don't degrade the environment, that we will be saving water in the production of cassava. Secondly, with the processing of cassava into gari, it will also help in protecting the environment.
For JoyNews, Nestor Kafui Ajoma's report.
Now, final year senior high school students across the country will this morning begin writing the West African Senior High School Certificate Examination. I understand that it has begun. This year's examination will see the largest number of students sitting the exam due to the combination of 2 batches of students. The last batch of the 4-year SHS students under the 2007 Educational Reform Policy writing the examination with the first batch of the 3-year SHS students following the reversal of the duration of SHS education from 4 years to 3 in 2010. Now, in all, 409,000 754 candidates, consisting of 220,866 males and 188,881 females from 724 public and private senior high schools are expected to write the exams. It will be written simultaneously in 4 other English-speaking West African countries, including Nigeria, Liberia, Gambia, and Sierra Leone. The Ministry of Education is touring some centers, and my colleague Patricia OSEI is with the team. Hello, Patricia.
Thanks.
Patricia, which centers have you been to?
We've been to 3 different centers. The first was St. Martin Senior High School, which is that in Sawam. And we came to Amasaman Senior High School, and then to St. John's Grammar Senior High School. And hello,
Patricia. Go ahead.
Okay, and when we went to the school, because of the number of students writing the exams this year, almost all the centers have divided them into batches. So they're writing oral English today, and what they've been doing is they have about 350 students writing for the first batch, then another will come for the second batch. When we got to St. Martin's, for instance, and the first batch was already in the writing. At that school, they have about 790 candidates registered. So they have just 2 batches. But at St. John's Grammar, they have 1,200 students with 2 guest schools writing in that school. That is Atmospheric Business College with 71 students, and then that professional institute with also 67 students. So they have 3 batches. They have 2 centers, and then 3 batches each. So in all, it is 6. That is yes, it is 6. So one center is taking 3 batches, and then the other is also taking 3 batches. When this one writes, they go, then the other batch will come. So you know it is 6 over there. But they are saying that it wouldn't be like that for other papers. This is oral English, so they would have to, and they have a few tapes, like 3 cassettes playing. So they can't let the students go into all their classrooms. Otherwise, some wouldn't have materials.
All right, Patricia, you've raised the issue of materials. Are all materials set for the exam? Do they have everything they need?
For the schools we visited, everything was set. At the time we got there, the supervisors told us that they got their things earlier before time. They were supposed to start at 9, and as at 8:30, some of them had their materials already. So within 8:30, 9, that is about 30 minutes, they were able to solve their challenges. So if they checked and their materials were not enough, within that 30 minutes, they find a way of getting more. So after the time we got there hadn't been any challenges.
Okay, and how were the 2 batches arranged? Did you have the 4-year batch seated separately from the 3-year batch? Were they given separate examination questions, or were they all put together writing the same questions?
They were put together writing the same questions. The thing is, it has been arranged according to our surname. It's in alphabetical order, so they haven't divided the 2. No, we have Form 4 and Form 3 writing together. That is what they are doing.
All right. Thank you very much, Patricia, for speaking with us. And we'll keep you in mind as we go through the rest of the bulletin. Now, yesterday we visited some schools, and here are the students at a second cycle institution.
The West Africa Senior School Certificate Examination is just a day away, and the final year students are leaving no stone unturned. In some senior high schools visited in the capital, students were spotted in groups busily revising for the impending exams. The task ahead for them is Herculean, especially after doing individual studies for over a week whilst their teachers were on strike. Some students say they are well prepared and poised to write the exams regardless of the challenges.
I'm prepared. During the strike, we are doing group work. We actually ask questions too. with our friends, and we answer ourselves, and yeah, it has helped a lot because we tried doing revision with that thing. We tried doing revision with friends. So actually, without the HS have played their part, so it's left to us to play our part.
Others, however, were panicky.
I panic sometimes. Me personally, I panic sometimes, but I managed to keep my composure. The expectation that comes along with you being in the school, sometimes a lot of people are looking up to you to perform. Sometimes that might bring you down in a certain way. But as you go on, you have to actually sit down and take your time.
But the teachers say they made up for the lost periods during the strike and have adequately prepared the students.
We organized some extra classes for them, at least to cover up the loss that we made. Yes, we did lose some periods, but of course we were able to make up. So I think parents should not be so much disturbed. Their fears should be allayed that, of course, the children will be able to write the exam because we have been able to prepare them very well for the exam. We are sure that when they are able to do exactly what we've told them, they should be able to tackle the exam without difficulty.
They, however, could not finish up the syllabus for junior students and have rescheduled the elective exams for the following term.
We have limited time, so in order not to leave the student not to write any exam at all, which I know some schools did. Yes, at the time of the strike, we had to really rearrange and organize ourselves properly. So the time that was left was only sufficient for writing the core subjects. If we were to write a letter, we were going to write 3 or so subjects in a day, which was not going to be good for the students. They needed time to prepare for the exam.
The examination, which begins April 9, will have 409,832 candidates from 724 public and private schools, the highest number of candidates so far in a WASSCE examination.
The Minister of Health, Sherry Aite, is visiting some hospitals in the capital in the face of the doctors' strike. My colleague Ya Foswajimfi is with the team and joins us now on the phone. Hello, Ya. Ya, where has the minister been so far?
Hello, Gigi. Can you hear me?
Yes, Ya, I'm asking where the minister has already visited.
Okay, Gigi, the Minister of Health, that is Sherry Aite, has been to the regional hospital, that is Great Hospital, to interact with patients and staff at the hospital. And then in an interview with the medical director, that is Dr. Emmanuel Obeapori, he's indicated that they are currently providing or seeing to emergency cases and then inpatients as well. And then they are also seeing to patients who have NHI cards as well. And then the minister has expressed a discussion about health professional conduct at the Great Hospital. And then currently she has moved to the 37 Military Hospital, where she's also been taken around the various units. So we'll try and get you more information as we move around with the minister. But,
all right.
Earlier on, we went to the police hospital to check on the impact of this strike action by health professionals. And then this is really taking a toll on the police hospital currently. At the OPD, the PRF and Julian Albin has indicated to us that the numbers are increasing. As of yesterday, it was okay, but this morning the numbers are increasing. And especially at the maternity ward, women are being referred to the place, and then the numbers are really increasing. And she said at the normal, they attend to about 80 to 90%, but today they are exceeding about 130%. And what I saw was pregnant women were all over the place, especially at the maternity ward, and they were being attended to. Talking to some of the nurses around, some people were being referred from Kalebu, and then they were in labor, so they were quickly sent to the labor ward. So we are trying to get all information across board, and then we'll get you informed.
Okay. Yeah, you mentioned that the police hospital was overburdened with the extra inflow of patients. Is the situation the same at the 37 Military Hospital where you are now?
Hello, Gigi.
Hello. Yeah, I'm asking if the situation at police hospital is the same at 37. Hello? All right. I believe my colleague Ya has left, but you got the import of her message. The police hospital is overburdened with the influx of patients, even as the Minister Sharia Ete continues her tour. We take you now from Accra all the way to the Upper West, where the regional minister, Ephraim Avia-Nso, has added his voice to calls on doctors to rescind their decision to go on strike. Citing the case of the Upper West region, Dr. Avia-Nso said the doctor-patient ratio was no better, considering 5 doctors are having to care for over 600,000 people in that region. According to him, the doctors' strike could worsen the plight of the people in the region. He made the appeal today when he visited the WA Regional Hospital. Rafiq Salam filed this report from WA.
The visit of the Upper West Regional Minister Dr. Ephraim Avia-Nso and his deputy Abu Kabiambata Kasambata to the WA Regional Hospital is their first since they took over their offices last month. The purpose of their visit was to assess the challenges facing the WA General Hospital and to appeal to striking doctors to rescind their decision to embark on a strike.
I have been brought here to seek the welfare of the people that are here, and my first thing is their welfare, and health is central in this kind of business. That if I want to look at people's welfare, I have to ensure that they are alive before I can seek their welfare. We don't seek the welfare of the dead.
At the maternity ward, the minister and his team bumped into a middle-aged woman, Elizabeth Bugnaba, who had just delivered triplets. The nurses and the midwives at the hospital, who spoke off-camera, were full of praise and appreciation to the minister and his team for the visit, remarking that they thought they were forgotten. Rafiq Salam's report from WA.
I understand my colleague Ya is back on the line. Hello, Ya.
Hello, JJ.
Yes, you mentioned that the police hospital was overburdened by the influx of patients. We just wanted to find out if the situation was the same at the 37 military hospital.
Okay, for the 37 military hospital, we are now trying to get the information from the authorities, but they think that they are putting in some measures to cater for the influx of the people here. So that is the information. But for the police hospital, they are also saying that they are increasing the number of workers, like medical and non-medical staff at the OPD, and then they're also going to make drugs available to attend to emergency cases as well.
Okay. Now, when you went to the Ridge Hospital, you mentioned that the minister spoke with Dr. Obeng Apo.
Yeah.
Did she speak with any other medical personnel? Were there any other doctors on site for her to speak with?
It was the nurses that were around, and then she spoke with them. But the medical director indicated to us that the doctors are acting into emergency cases and inpatients as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Yeah. Okay, so we're moving to Boku West, where 4 people have been killed by anthrax in Sapelga. 30 cattle have also been killed by the disease. The outbreak was recently confirmed by the Pong Tamale Veterinary College, which tested samples of cattle carcasses. The District Security Council has issued an edict restricting the movement of cattle and other animals to and from the district. Anthrax recurrently breaks out in the northern part of the country virtually every year. Let's now go over the phone lines live and speak with Dr. Kwesi Boji, who is in charge of things happening there. All right. Unfortunately, we don't have him on the phone at the moment. When we get him, we'll go back to that story. But for now, members of the Government and Hospital Pharmacists Association, GHOSPA, have justified their full-blown strike indefinitely to protest a delay in resolving their grievances. The president of GHOSPA, Stephen Kokwe, tells JoyNews, after several meetings and negotiations, the situation remains the same. The pharmacists, like other striking labor unions, are seeking better grading on the single spine pay policy, as well as an upward review of their market premium.
Though the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission has moved the entry-level grade up from 18L to 18H, GHOSPA says the Commission has refused to let the adjustment reflect at all levels.
The grading structure is such that once you change the entry point, there should be a cascading effect on the other grades. It's like the government has announced that the minimum wage is 4 cedis. And so anybody whose minimum wage is 2 cedis apparently will move to 4 cedis. The others who are 6 cedis and above also have that cascading effect. That's exactly what the National Labour Commission have done. And Fair Wages and Salaries Commission have decided not to implement the ruling. And it is quite disheartening and frustrating.
According to him, it has become necessary to withdraw their services effective today since the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission have refused to accept a recent ruling of the National Labour Commission to adopt a new grading structure put together by the Ministry of Health.
After the migration onto the spine, because this issue was not fixed, their salaries was slashed, was lower than what they were receiving before. Some of who are supposed to receive 2,000 now receive 1,200. And it is not the best. Their working condition now has been increased. Their workload has increased. The issue about the bucket premium will also be mattering for the past 18 months. And it has reached National Labour Commission. They also cannot take a decision. They are sending it to the presidency. For the past 3 weeks, we have not heard anything from them. For how long are we going to wait for these issues to be resolved finally? So from today, my members have decided that they are going to withdraw their service indefinitely until these new issues are resolved.
The Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, meanwhile, says it is in court to appeal this ruling. In an earlier interview with JoyNews, Director of Grievances and Negotiations Cornelius Yorson indicated the Commission was the only institution mandated to grade public workers.
We are saying that we should build institutions. Now, if Fair Wages and Salaries Commission had the mandate to do grading and somebody else is purporting to do that, I believe it is incumbent on us to appeal it and assert our independence. And it is something that should rather be commended.
Now strikes go all over the place as workers at Ghana's courts are the next public sector workers threatening to lay down their tools today if government fails to pay their allowances, which have been in arrears for several months. The workers claim all attempts by the leadership of the Judicial Service Staff Association to get government to honor its obligations have been futile. The president of the Judicial Service Staff Association, Francis Brakwa, told JoyNews they can no longer accept government's, quote, lackadaisical attitude to their plight. According to him, government has not paid a pesewa to them the whole of this year and still has arrears for last year to settle. He said the association alerted the government in a strong-worded letter that challenges the workers of the challenges that workers of the association were going through and gave an ultimatum for their grievances to be addressed, failure of which they will withdraw their services. He said government has failed to get back to them and that they can't wait anymore. The association today has a meeting at 2 p.m. and will take a decision which is likely to include a strike. Francis Brakwa noted the action could have dire implications on the operations at the various courts in the country. And with the controversial election petition beckoning, a strike by the service is likely to affect a smooth hearing. Now, Cabinet has directed that old premiums be paid to public sector workers. It said that this should continue until a determination of which skills fall under the category of critical skills and the amount of the premiums to be paid is set. Cabinet sat on Tuesday and approved guidelines for the determination of market premium for employees with critical skills that should attract premiums. The Minister of Information and Media Relations, Mahama Ayariga, in a statement signed, said government will soon issue a white paper on the guidelines. There's more news coming up shortly after this break. Welcome back. The World Bank has warned that until the government puts the right regulatory and tariff framework in place to enable consumers of electricity to pay the right prices, the ongoing challenges will not end anytime soon. According to the bank, the government requires investment from the private sector to be able to fund the huge cost of infrastructure at the generation, transmission, and distribution levels, while being allowed to sell the power to consumers at the right prices. Answering questions from financial journalists at a forum in Accra, Dr. Waka Haida, sector leader, Sustainable Development of the World Bank in charge of Ghana, Liberia, and Sierra Leone, said no private investor is interested in investing in any economy to make losses. He said the potential in electricity generation was great, but without good regulatory and tariff regimes, no one would be ready to invest in that sector. For more than a year now, the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, has been compelled under strenuous circumstances to ration power in a manner that has affected a lot of businesses. There are conflicting reports about the cause of the power shortage because while some officials of governments blame a supposed damage to the West Africa gas pipeline beneath the sea, forcing its shutdown, others have put the blame on the lack of investment in the sector to expand the sources of generation. Presently, the country's generation capacity is far less than supply, thereby forcing the authorities to ration power. Now on Sunday, the petitioners in the Supreme Court election case filed their affidavits with supporting evidence to enable the hearing of the case begin on April 16th. According to the affidavits filed by Dr. Mahamadou Baumia, the second petitioner, the list of 705 names from various diplomatic missions abroad, furnished by the EC, which is the second respondent, contained 51 instances of repeated names to a total of 102. According to the affidavit, many of the names supplied by the EC cannot be found in the General Voters Register presented to political parties before the election. It read, the scrutiny of some of the voter ID numbers supposedly belonging to some of these foreign registered voters could not be found on the General Voters Register. That is to say, they are fake identities. The Supreme Court, in response to interrogatories the petitioner served on the second respondent, had ordered the EC to supply the names and other details of the people it claimed it registered abroad, namely Ghanaians working in our foreign missions, Ghanaians working in certain international organizations, Ghanaian students on government scholarships abroad, and soldiers returning home from peacekeeping missions abroad. That list, according to the EC's own earlier answer to the petition, should have been 241,524. However, the EC was able to supply the court with a total list of only 2,883, including the security service personnel returning home. Now, keeping it all legal, contrary to statements from Justice Pega, the General Legal Counsel has confirmed the New Patriotic Party's 2012 presidential candidate, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has indeed been called to the bar. In a note signed for the Secretary of the General Legal Counsel by the Acting Administration Secretary, they stated his qualifying and enrollment certificates were, however, missing. A former Supreme Court judge, Justice Pega, has accused Nana Addo of impersonating another lawyer and that he was never called to the bar. Mr. William Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, I certify that Mr. William Adodankwa Ekufuado was enrolled and called to the Ghana Bar at the meeting of the General Legal Council held at the Supreme Court building on Tuesday, 8th July 1975. I have been informed of the loss of Mr. William Adodankwa's qualifying and enrollment certificates. This note, therefore, serves to confirm his enrollment, dated at Accra this 16th day of October 2007. Now, government has said it will resume its weekly media briefing sessions on Thursday, April 11 at the Flagstaff House and has issued a set of guidelines for media houses who will be attending. According to a statement signed by the outgoing General Secretary of the Ghana Journalists Association, Bright Blow, the press briefing is to be attended by either a news editor or the deputy. But where it becomes impossible for the news editor or the deputy to attend, only the head of a desk will be allowed to participate on behalf of the media house. The statement also directed media institutions to submit questions or issues at least 2 days ahead of the stated date to the GJA. The statement also named the Private Newspaper Publishers Association of Ghana or the Minister of Information and Media Relations as points for submission of questions. According to the GJA, the midweek media briefing follows an agreement between the Ministry of Information and Media Relations and the association to create a platform to improve the flow of government information. To get more information on that, we don't have them at the moment. When we do, we will tell you what they have to say. But for now, we'll take a quick break. Welcome back to the Midday Brief, and it's time for my favorite part of the show. We're talking wellness. Now, some people refer to it as liquid gold, but most of us know it as honey. The substance we are specifically referring to is raw honey. Honey in its purest form. Honey that has not been altered, strained, filtered, or heated above 115 degrees Fahrenheit. The medicinal properties of honey have been known for almost as long as the human race has been eating the sweet gel. So let's delve deeper into the amazing health benefits honey has to offer. Alright, so I'm just going to give you 2 quick tips with honey. If you constantly have colds, you can have honey and cinnamon and it will clear that up really quickly. And then if you put peanut butter on toast with a bit of honey on the top, oh my goodness, you just made my morning. So let's move on to the international briefs, where Kenya's new president, Uhuru Kenyatta, who faces international charges of crimes against humanity, has been sworn into office at a ceremony in a stadium packed with supporters and foreign dignitaries. And in Great Britain, the funeral of Baroness Thatcher will take place on Wednesday, 17 April. Downing Street made this announcement as tributes continue to pour in for the former British Prime Minister. Is it just me, or are things getting heated and tension-filled in the international arena? How about something to lighten your mood? A little showbiz, perhaps? Juliet Abraham goes down cut, plus putting in some color. What's all that about? Let's find out in our showbiz brief.
We caught up with Juliet at the premiere of the movie Flower Girl in her pretty short gold hair, which she intends to dye to some other color soon.
I just recently signed on to Empire Entertainment, so a lot more is yet to come from the Juliet Ibrahim brand. And I have my reality TV show coming up as well, so there's a whole lot more to expect from me.
Until sometime last year, Juliet was mostly seen wearing long hair, and she looked good in it. But she confesses that it has never been her own hair, going on to explain why she's now wearing short gold hair.
I cut my hair some time back. I just wanted to have something short because Ghana was very hot at that time. It started getting very, very hot. And you know, the weaves is not our real hair, so you're always sweating and sticking on your body. I don't like when it touch my body. So I was like, cut it. And then I'm about to do my music video, which I needed to go in something crazy. So the hair dye came up, the gold. But I'm actually going to dye it to another color for the video. So the blonde is going to make the other catch.
Ghana's under-17 men's team will round up their training tour of Italy with a test match against Novara's under-20 side, and Roberto Mancini says Manchester City can regain the Premier League title next season, having written off their hopes for the current campaign. Sorry about that. Instead, we'll talk about the U.S. Treasury Secretary, who has urged countries with the capacity to do more to boost economic growth through consumer demand, in an apparent reference to Germany. Jack Lew was speaking after talks with German Finance Minister Wolfgang Schäuble in Berlin. Germany is Europe's largest economy, and it is seen as vital to its recovery. But statistics released on Tuesday suggested its economy is weakening, with both imports and exports down. Jack Lew said the continued economic problems in Europe were a concern for the U.S. And that's my final story for you this afternoon. Before I go, though, let's take a quick look at our headlines for the day. There's been an anthrax outbreak in Boku, claiming the life of 4 people and over 30 cattle. The 2013 WASSCE of the 4-year and 3-year system has begun today. According to my colleague PATRICIA, who went on the tour, exams are running smoothly despite the large numbers. The doctors' strike continues unabated. The Minister of Health visited some hospitals to assess the situation. She went to the Ridge Hospital, the police hospital, and at the time we checked in with them, they were at the 37 military hospital, where it is busy, busy, busy. And for wellness, we talked about the amazing benefits of honey. I think it's time for me to go find some. So we'll end Midday Brief. My name is Jennifer Jane Asante. 2 p.m. there's a news briefing. This is the place to be if you're looking for news. Good afternoon.